Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our JustNoMil. In today's episode, MIL tries to force us into taking SIL into our house. MIL suddenly needs surgery where we live after finding out I'm pregnant. Can't trust her anymore after hurting my baby, and she's mad at me for it. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. MIL tries to force us into taking SIL into our house. My husband's younger sister was born severely physically and mentally disabled. She's completely dependent on other people and needs 24/7 care. She's unable to eat by herself, go to the bathroom, take a shower, dress, etc. I have only met her once, and that was a very sad sight. She's 25 years old, but her mental abilities are those of a 1-year-old. She doesn't speak, except for babbling a thing or two, and I don't think she understands what's going on around her. There's no cure or helping her. That's how she was born, and that's how she'll be for the rest of her life. It's horrible and very, very sad. SIL has spent all of her life living with MIL and FIL. But FIL passed away a few years ago, and now it's just MIL who's taking care of her. My husband is helping by sending money to MIL for SIL's needs every month, but we live pretty far away from them, and don't have the opportunities to go over that often. However, recently MIL has been obsessed with the idea that SIL should be moved to live with us. She called my husband the other day and just dropped this announcement on him without even asking for his opinion on this matter. MIL said that she's getting older and doesn't have that much strength anymore to take care of SIL, that our house is very big, and we can definitely find a room for SIL. My husband's answer was no. Though he loves and cares for his sister, we cannot take her into our house. There's no one to take care of her. We're both working and have our own little one. He's our number one priority that takes the majority of our time, and we're putting him above anything else. Also, call us selfish or evil, but another reason is the fact that we honestly just don't want SIL here. She's a permanently disabled person who needs someone to sacrifice their lives for her sake, and I don't think we have the obligation to do so. MIL got extremely angry when my husband refused to house SIL. She was like, "How can you? It's your sister. Don't you understand that I'm not young anymore and don't have the energy anymore? You and your wife are young people. If you can take care of a child, you'll be able to take care of her too." My husband offered MIL a different option. He said that if MIL cannot do it herself, then she should hire a carer. We will pay for it, MIL won't have to spend a dime, and it'll be someone professional with the experience and skill of caring for disabled people. MIL rejected that instantly. She was like, "Hell no. I'm not having a stranger in my house all day long. Forget about it. And why pay for something you can do yourself?" In that case, another option is possible. That is to move SIL to a facility for disabled people where they are being taken care of by assistants, nurses, and other employees. It's something like a nursing home. MIL completely lost it at this proposition, and I'm not sure why. After all, it doesn't mean just taking SIL there and forgetting about her. She can visit her as much as she likes. Facilities like that are not cheap, and they offer much better care than the patient can receive at home. But MIL went crazy about it. She was like, "That's not even up for discussion. My daughter will never spend her life in a place for psychos. How could you even think of that, etc." I don't know if MIL realizes that after she passes away, SIL will most likely end up in a facility anyway. Aside from my husband, she has no other relatives. That's the best we can do for her. We will pay for everything so that SIL could have the best care possible, but we will not take her to our house. So now we have this huge fight with MIL, because she tries all she can to sneak SIL into our house even after we have said a strict no. We didn't say that we will think about it or maybe. We said that no, it's not gonna happen, don't even think about it. Better think about what you're going to do. We have given her options to choose from, so far she doesn't agree with any of them. And she has no real reasoning behind that. She cannot say it's because of money, as we will cover all the expenses concerning SIL. MIL's only excuse is that she doesn't want it. To me, that's not an argument. But at the same time, we do feel kinda bad, especially my husband. He feels like a bad person, like he's not doing enough for his sister, even though over the years he has given lots of money to make sure SIL has everything she needs. However, there's really nothing else we can do. We have a child and we plan on having more children in the future. What SIL has isn't temporary, and I really don't think we have the obligation to dedicate our lives to someone who will never be a fully functional adult. MIL suddenly needs surgery where we live after finding out I'm pregnant. First time posting, so bear with me here, it's a long one. Little backstory for context, I have just hit 8 months pregnant, and we have one toddler already. We moved about 4 hours away from MIL shortly after our toddler turned 1. My husband found better work here, and we didn't have to deal with MIL showing up at our house multiple times per week to help with our toddler win-win. BIL and SIL have one toddler and live less than 5 miles from JustNoMil. BIL has a different dad than my husband who has remarried. SIL has both parents who live about 15 miles from them. My husband's dad passed away when he was 12, and my parents have both died as well. This makes JustNoMil our children's only grandparent, which comes into play later. Around 4 months pregnant, before we had told any of them we were expecting, JustNoMil started to act more erratic. She somehow wrecked her car's tire, completely splitting the rim of the car in half. She was then found walking around her apartment complex barefoot in the middle of the night, saying she was looking for her dog who was inside her apartment. Then, she started beating on her neighbor's door sometime around 2 a.m., enough to cause significant damage to their door because she says she needed a phone charger. We assumed either some mental health issues may be at play, or she had started drinking again, and deemed her unsafe to drive. BIL and SIL beg us to drive down to fix/take her car back home with us until they figure out what should be done with it. They said if it were at their house, they worried she would just come steal the car back. So we drive down, fix the car, and bring it back with us, where it's promptly sat killing a spot of grass in our yard. About a month ago, things had seemed to smooth over with everybody, so we told BIL and SIL we were expecting. We asked that they keep the news to themselves until we were nearing delivery, but they told MIL shortly after lesson learned. MIL immediately spiraled. Suddenly, she needs a surgery that can only happen where we live. She told me that she had scheduled the procedure, and would need me to come pick her up and take her to the appointment because we have her car. Turns out, this appointment is with a specialist to determine if she even needs the procedure. She has scheduled this appointment for next week. I let her know I was summoned for jury duty next week, and have a doctor's appointment of my own, so I couldn't miss more work next week. At this point, MIL started pulling in my husband's ends to repeatedly call him and tell him there's no reason we can't pick her up over the weekend to let her stay at our house until the appointment. Of course, MIL agrees. They've argued that none of this would be necessary if you hadn't essentially stolen her car. BIL and SIL refuse to drive her more than an hour closer to us, and they tell us we should just give her the car back to let her drive herself back home. We told them we aren't holding her car hostage, and if they drive her here, she can have it. We have enough to worry about as it is without worrying about MIL, but we can't drive down there and immediately back again. Last night, my husband called her and asked her to at least reschedule to September, when we would have more time to figure out the logistics of all this. She refused. Why? Because if she doesn't get seen until September, then she can't have the surgery until after I've had the baby. My husband pushes back, saying that she wouldn't be at the hospital with us anyways and wouldn't be seeing the baby until she's vaccinated regardless of where she lives. She starts screaming that he's never done anything for her. Our children deserve to have grandparents. If we can't take care of her when she needs medical attention, and we're going to keep her away from her grandchildren for no reason, etc. Husband got upset, saying that she wasn't the problem, but the appointment was and she should reschedule to a better time. At this point, she started calling him a hateful ****tard, so he hung up. We haven't heard from her, but we have heard from the aunts again, who still agree with MIL that we are in the wrong. We should step up because she's the only grandparent our children will ever get. It's the children's job to take care of their aging parents, etc. etc. Ironically, they aren't giving the step up and take care of her speech to BIL or SIL. Are we wrong here? I feel as though once we agree to let her stay even a day or two at our house, she's going to come up with more and more reasons why she can't leave. Then what? Can't trust her anymore after hurting my baby, and she's mad at me for it. I just posted a few days ago about my JustNoMil, and received great advice on how to deal with her. So if you want a little background, feel free to read my previous post. Well, now I have lost all my trust in her with my baby boy, and I didn't have much to begin with. There has been some small things that have happened since he was born that made me always uncomfortable and nervous when she was with him, and now my gut feelings have been confirmed. She is not watching him ever, and she never has. I don't want anything happening to him. So last night me and my family had to go over to her house, so my husband could pick something up. She invited us for dinner, and we stayed. Everything was fine until I went to use the bathroom upstairs for a minute after dinner. Husband was in the other room watching a game with his dad, so my MIL said she will watch him. Not even 5 minutes later I hear my baby screaming bloody murder. I ran downstairs and my husband got there right before me, and she is saying how sorry she is. I grabbed him from her, and he had a lump on his forehead and scratch under his eyebrow. I was calming him down and asked what happened. She said she set him on the bed, and before she could grab him he fell off. I was so mad, but at that point I was more worried about my son being okay. Their bed is high up and they have hardwood floors and stuff by the bed. I asked if he hit anything. She said she thinks he hit the stool by the bed. My husband was pissed and said a few things, and I told her, why would you put him on the bed? She said she was going to walk around to play with him, but he fell off. I was so mad I said, stop hurting my baby, he could be seriously hurt because of you. We left a little later. Thankfully he is fine, and after talking to his DR, he said to just keep my eye on him for any unusual symptoms. She called me today and asked how he was. I know she feels bad. But then she said, I know you aren't going to let me watch him. I said probably not for a while, because you make me nervous, and I honestly can't trust you with him. She acted surprised and said why I would never mean to hurt him. I said it doesn't matter, you already have, and I don't want something happening to him. Then she said it's always my fault, I know. I told her I'm sorry she's upset, but my child's well-being is way more important to me than her feelings. Then she said, well, it is what it is, and hung up. I think any mom would completely agree with how I feel. She has fell off of a swing with him when he was 5 mo, thankfully he didn't get hurt, tried walking around with him when she was on crutches. I told her don't hold him when you have a broken leg because you aren't stable, and I don't want him falling. Tries feeding him things he can't have yet, and now let him fall off the bed. I'm done with it, and now I know every visit I won't be able to leave him unattended with her at all. I don't trust her, and I don't care what she thinks anymore. My mama bear in me is in full mode. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.